Hello and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV, a program where we discuss politics, policy and governance. I am Suleiman. Well, where are the alternative political parties? Opinion polls are not yet a regular feature of Nigerian democracy, so no one knows to what extent Nigerians are disenchanted with the ruling APC, or for that matter, the opposition PDP. No one knows either to what extent Nigerians will embrace a third party or any of the many other parties in this election. But maybe we're about to find out. The new Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, has been making waves in the political space across the country, or at least in some parts of it. The NNPP, you'll recall, is the political party adopted by former Kano State Governor Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso and many members of the national movement 2 months ago in March. Before then, the party and its name were mostly unknown in Nigeria's political and electoral arena. But since then, the NNPP has grown in leaps and bounds. They successfully conducted their local, state, and national congresses in March and now have a new National Working Committee, NWC. Also, a gale of defections from the ruling APC or the opposition party across the states seems also to favor the NNPP. In Kano alone, at least 25 former and current state and National Assembly members have defected to the party from either the APC or the PDP. In fact, NNPP is now the second largest party in the Kano State House of Assembly with 17 members. Similarly, aspirants for various offices in both the APC and the PDP in many states have defected to the NNPP, swelling its ranks of many party members, but also influential politicians in the country. So tonight we ask, what is the NNPP up to? What is their overall game plan for changing Nigeria's electoral map in this election? Are they out to go from the third force to the first force? Or will they just become another regional or one-state party like APGA? With me in the studio today is one NNPP insider who should have answers, indeed all the answers to all of these questions. Professor Rufai Ahmad Al-Kali is the national chairman of the NNPP. He's a professor of political science and a former national publicity secretary of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. You're most welcome, Prof.
Thank you, sir.
But before we continue, we'll take a short break. When we return, we'll jump into it and bring you all the gist about what this new party that is making waves, I'm sure you've also seen it. What are they up to? It's our job to ask and for you to listen and learn. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Daily Politics on Trust TV, and we're discussing the third force who want to become the first force. So, Prof, maybe we should start from there. As you've been spokesman for the PDP, and as national chairman, you are the #1 spokesman for your party still. So, what precisely is the game plan? What is the NNPP planning? What are you hoping to achieve in 2023 and beyond?
Well, thank you very much. As is usual with my practice when I come here, I used to commend you and commend the management of Daily Trusts.
We do appreciate it, thank you.
Because it requires a lot of vision, a lot of foresight, courage, determination to build an idea. And today, the trusts, stable at all levels, have come to stay. I'm also very happy to know that the Trust TV is taking the issue of democracy and good governance as major issues that concern you and concern the country. This is about the third or fourth time I'm coming to face you here. And every time I come, I see a lot of improvements. So let me say congratulations once again.
Thank you. Yes.
Let's put it this way. There's a consensus in this country that we want democracy. There's a consensus in this country that we want good governance. There's a consensus in the country that people are willing to make sacrifices to promote democracy. But I think there's also a general consensus that people are disappointed because the expectations have been very, very high. As a student of political science, we always teach that democracy is not about one man, one vote. Important as it is, because it is the first corridor towards entering the democratic process. People should have the right to vote and be voted for. Indeed, in a number of countries of the world, it's not even easy to get that franchise. Both for men, sometimes even for women. So for us to say we are having this regular election is good enough at certain level. But Nigerians are looking at beyond this. They are looking at what is the content of democracy. What is there for them? What is the social contract between the people and the leadership? What is the role of political parties in this process? Are they performing their functions? Do they understand the needs of the people? Are they aggregating the interests of the people? Are they working towards addressing these issues? I think on balance, people are disappointed because on and on, every after elections, people get things that are completely at variance with the promises made to them. And as we are today, and that is worrisome, people are losing faith in the democratic process. People are also losing faith in the country. Many people are losing faith in themselves. There are many people who now today don't even want to go and vote again. They are just tired. Now, so if you want to celebrate in Nigeria democracy at 20 years, yes, so be it. But what is on the table? Is it the country that we call our country that we can be proud of as a nation, as a people? All of us are not proud. We are not happy. We are happy we have a country, but we need a better country. A better country. A country that can stand shoulder to shoulder with other nations of the world. Given the vast resources God has given us, the complex population that is rich in both intellect and perseverance, the mobility worldwide. But now we are constrained. So there's every reason to worry. And that's why for a long time people are saying, okay, we are stuck with these two elements. You know, what do we do? And many people are retreating, into their cocoon in despair and desperation. And we thought we should not allow to go beyond this. And that is why the new Nigerian People's Party emerged to address this kind of problem that we are facing. That we must also once again rekindle hope in the minds of our countrymen and women. We must also tell them that Nigeria can work. Other countries worse than Nigeria have worked.
Thank you, Prof. But some people are feeling that, like many breakaway parties or breakaway factions of the parties, the New Nigeria People's Party is also formed as a result of, elite disenchantment with, the parties that they are in, rather than in terms of their their thoughts about what can be done for the people at the grassroots level. For example, the founders of the party were members of other political parties, either APC or PDP, sometimes both, And then certain circumstances, mean that come to be that they don't find enough space in these parties, and then they come to form this one. So there's this argument that these are parties that are unlikely to be different from the two where where people are complaining about.
You are right. You are right. You know, when people see failure, repeated failure, the next thing is to retreat. Cynicism comes in. And that's why I said there is no faith and even trust, you know, in the system. It's gone down very low. But you see, sir, you know, the way the system works is that even in groups and organizations, even if you have a common idea, they are likely to have different tendencies. And at a time when this country wants to advance forward, and then we are not making progress. And those who started the idea of the earlier political parties may be well-intentioned. But in the case of the PDP, you know that most of the earlier elders, they have all gone. Only a few of them remain standing. And those who are standing also, nobody is doing business with them. Because like new elements have emerged that now this party belongs to us. Not to the people again, as we used to hear. So what you see is a drift. Whatever the ideals of the parties, there has been significant and fundamental drift. Now what you see, consciously or unconsciously, is just about fight about power. I used to say raw power. Because most of the people who are fighting for this power, after all, some of them are holding positions of authority. And they have held positions of authority. And they have the opportunity to make some changes in this country. But dividing this country is not part of democracy. Leaving people in hunger is not part of democracy. Leaving our students at home, both for secondary school, primary school, and university to be closed for this number of months and more to come, is not part of democracy, sir. You cannot, the absence of, you know, even physical security is not what democracy is all about. Democracy is about service to the people. Absolutely. Therefore, even if you are part of a group and you are seeing the adrift, you don't have to stay there until you sync with the group. Because what happened today and what is happening today, although the way you are from your introduction, you are still, you are not, even your chef, you are not sure. You know, you are saying that maybe is it going to just emerge as one or going to be a regional party?
Actually, I was going to ask you that.
Okay.
As a new party, you know, because Nigeria is huge, and you have a national working committee comprised of people from various parts of the country.
Absolutely.
And your convention clearly showed that you had representation from across the entire country.
Representation.
Yes. But in terms of mobilization, in terms of memberships and people who want to aspire under your party, that has, you know, at least quantitatively speaking, now appear in only pockets of the country. How do you explain that? Yes.
I think you are choosing your word wrongly.
Okay.
Pockets.
Yes.
I think.
For example, Kano State. After Kano State and Jigawa State, then.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think, Suleiman, you are a media man, but I'm not too sure in the recent past you have been following events very closely.
Okay.
We are not come here to tell things that are wrong to Nigerian people. Okay. Because they can use it against us in future. We are serious people, Sir Suleiman. We are very serious people. And we are working seriously based on what we have told you. That we said we are not going to sit down and allow our country to disintegrate. We will not allow our democracy to disintegrate. We don't want to allow people to go beyond the levels of the low levels. So that's why when we came in, like I told you, many people were not saying they were not expecting anybody to come out, and because like the argument is that it was too late to start anything anymore, to start it either to register a new political party, to form merger, form alliance. People dismissed all these options, but we were confident because we have one thing in mind: our country and our people. And historically, sir, check it out. only one person with a band of a few others supporting V.I. Lenin that led the revolution in Russia, that created the empire, that stood face to face with the United States. Even today, that battle is there.
It's still on.
Is one person, Fiamma Mao, with his own band of supporters, who led the revolution in China and chased away the Chiang Kai-shek regime in 1949 and established a new, very powerful empire, only rolling forward, expanding. Another person, maybe a leader, small one you may think, Fidel Castro. Is one person who stood face to face. Over 600 attempts were made on his life. He survived under the nose of the United States of America. Gandhi, that the independence of India. He never ruled India. In Nigeria here, we had other people. Is it Obafemi Awolowo? Was he not the leader of a group that emerged, that remain relevant up to today in this country? You cannot mention Awolowo without remembering what he has done.
Exactly.
Or is it Zik? Or is it Aminu Kano? National movements, national movement that want to change a nation, society, always start from somewhere. And they have, they don't move in straight lines. They are spontaneous. They don't move in straight lines. They move spontaneous. Therefore, this is a spontaneous movement.
Interesting.
But many people are still asleep. That's why they know what is happening.
Okay.
Throughout Nigeria today, as I can tell you with all sense of responsibility, there is no state that you can go. You cannot have a structure of NNPP, organization, elders and leaders, businessmen, students, women associations. Everybody is queuing because we have been looking for an alternative. You have gotten it. But the message will be sinking very gradually on others. Because sometimes when a bad news comes to a person, the first time is always rejection. Example, a patient goes to a doctor and the doctor says he has AIDS. The first is rejection. Next, anger. Next, bitterness. Then gradually, accommodation.
Yes.
So the issue now here that there is this sense of reductionism, that what else can be done after what has been done before. But society does not begin and end with one or two political parties.
Yes.
Okay? So, and the main reason is that maybe when they were formed, there was basis. Maybe they was understanding there was, but they have lost focus, they have lost direction. And the worst part of it is any party that forget the people.
So that raises...
Any party that forget the people, and forget the country, and sacrifice the people, you cannot say you are on the path of building democratic projects. So, as it is now, you know what you call the principle of concentric circles. You drop and any item on a still water, it will vibrate.
Yes.
It will move until it reaches the shores. And that's what's happening. As it is now, NNPP is not a third force as you are describing us. We are the first bit because why? We don't have internal wranglings. We don't come with essentially a secondary or personal or a selfish agenda. Our agenda is simple: to save democracy and save our country.
Interesting.
And I think these are noble causes that everybody should support.
Thank you. So, but I like that you said that you have not had internal wranglings within the party, because part of the major problems that political parties have faced in Nigeria is the lack of internal democracy. People find it difficult to have free and self-expression within the political parties, because more often than not, you have one person who decides, take this, you have this, you don't have that, and so on. And you did ward congresses and local government congresses, state congresses, and national convention, and you didn't have that story. But as a reporter, one might ask that, okay, the APC had a similar beginning, in 2013, in 2015, when they were not in power, they had a straightforward convention. straightforward party primaries.
No, they are on
but
different.
now
No,
none of these two
the difference
is straightforward.
the difference side is that there was an amalgamation of what Nigeria used to call strange bedfellows, because there were more or less a combination of forces just to achieve one objective, to defeat PDP, primarily. But inside them, they came with these divisions right from day one. And most of these divisions could not be reconciled over the period of time. Because after 8 years, those divisions would have disappeared. After all, after forming a federal government, you have sufficient access to everything to accommodate everybody and give everybody a sense of belonging, sense of hope. But unfortunately, because the way the party is self-constituted, I'm not really sure if the party was helpful to the government. I'm very sorry. I'm sorry to put it that way.
The APC as a party.
Yes, I don't think it was helpful to the government.
Separate from the government
if it was helpful to the government will not have all these kind of challenges and issues. I'm not too sure. And I said it. One of the last things I said in 2015 is that the president should worry more about APC rather than the PDP, because that is where the challenge will always come from. That's what I said. And also I divided the APC at that time. I told them that, please plan more and talk less. That was also advice. I remember those were some of my last suggestions before I went off. I say, no need to talk until time for talking comes. That the president.
So can we say by forming and working to form the NNPP now, it's your way of talking?
Well, of course, because the time for sitting down at home, agonizing, abusing, criticizing, condemning, blaming, we pass that phase. Because when you sit down blaming, who are you blaming? Yeah? And what is the purpose of the blaming? What is the achievement? We have passed the level. We are looking for solution to our national problems. So what is important in this country today is that we must put our act together. Because how can somebody will take arms to fight the state? Remember what it means. If you take arms to fight the state, you are an enemy of the state, and the state is going to crush you.
Yes.
So what is the reason? What is the motivating force that pushes somebody to leave the comfort of his home or comfort of his own businesses or whatever, and then you go to confront the state? It means that there is something, bitterness, anger, frustration, alienation. So they are Nigerians. If they cause trouble, then the state will act. Either way, it's a loss to the country.
Absolutely.
Because no sensible company in this country today or in the world today will come and invest in a country which is full of trouble. Because one elder told me that the capital is coward.
Yes. It only goes where there's a lot of security.
They don't go where there's no peace. And he's a banker. I respect him. He said, capital is coward. He doesn't go to unsafe havens. When other countries are doing everything to attract international businesses, to attract foreign funding, to attract tourists, to attract, we are doing everything to dismantle our country. And we do it fashionably. We do it in such a way that we enjoy doing it, actually. And I think that's not the proper way to do it. So if, for example, initiating an idea is one thing, but sustaining is another matter.
Absolutely.
So initiating the democratic process, let's say in 1999, is a good idea. Setting up a political party to run the democratic process, well, a good idea. But if a party begins to lose its focus, where, for example, you are a member of the political party, when you go there, you're an alien in the party. Why will you stay there in that party? And then the issue is that, what are they fighting for? Is it for the betterment of the citizens? Well, when enough, you can say, okay, even if you're not part of it, at least something is going to come forward for other people. But it's not happening. So our own is no amalgamation of strange bedfellows. It is a national movement rooted in the basic interests of our people, our concern, genuine concern, that we should not continue the way we are doing. We are drifting, and we must go back to our senses.
Interesting.
Okay? And then the platform is open to everybody. Nobody is going to be excluded, because that's why, especially the issue of women and youth, we believe they should not be left outside the system. Because women constitute over 50% of the population. Imagine you are a woman being treated as just secondary citizens in your country. This is not outside South African apartheid. You don't give them education, you don't give them employment, you don't empower them. They also become an excess luggage in the system. Why? They are our wives, they are our fathers, mothers, they are our sisters, they are our friends. They are asset to every country of the world. In other countries already, women are taking the highest positions in the land. What of the youth? How can you allow the most active set of your population redundant? How can you allow them? So that's why we are saying, in terms of what you have done in terms of planning, when we are selling forms, we said, look, let's look at it. Expression of interest is zero. You don't have to pay any kobo. Okay, for the youth and the women, and then the disabled. And then for youth, if you're under 35, and you and women, also 50% total cost for a nomination form.
Okay.
So what are we saying? We feel that these young people, most of them highly educated, highly active, they should be engaged in the political process right now. Because somebody who has reached 35 can hold many positions in the country. You don't want to doesn't have to wait until he's 60, 70, 80 years. By now, he also should learn. And then the process of mentoring also starts early. You know what the soldiers say, Operation Catch Him Young. The younger is more willing and ready to learn. So that's why we are feeling that we are opening the space. And then we are also not allowing anybody to bring issue of ethnicity and tribe, because assuming I'm taking a flight in a plane, will I ask the tribe or the religion of the pilot before I board that plane? Or when I go to a hospital, I'm looking for medicine, I'm sick, do I ask the tribe or the religion of the doctor before I go and see him? So it is, in fact, amazing how somebody will turn around to begin to use religion and ethnicity to manipulate the political process. And I think, it fundamentally, it is for the manipulation of the sentiment, the minds, the attitude of our common people, so that they can be subjected persistently as underdogs. Otherwise, there is no reason for this.
Thank you. We have just a few minutes to go. And you raised, to go for a break, to take a break, But just before we do that, you raised issues you've been speaking so passionately, and I'm sure even our viewers who can see the passion with which you're speaking, trying to make the case that your party is not the same or is different from the other parties that have been in charge in the past 20-something years in Nigeria. But if Nigerians were to remember to take one or two things away about what your party represents or aims to represent going forward, what would that be?
Simple. They will remember us as, in the moment of need, in the moment of despair, in the moment of anger and frustration, in the moment of lack of direction, who came up to rescue us? Who came up to show his concern about us? Who is there that is there for us that we can go back to? Who is there that we can go and sleep today, hoping that tomorrow is going to be a better day? Who is that can assure us our children will go to universities and not come back and be rotting or resting or rotting, let me use the word rotting, in their own homes when they are very young, early? Who is there that can offer us hope that when we are sick, we go to hospital, we'll be welcomed by people, by caring nurses and caring doctors, and maybe even medicine to assist them? Who will there be? Who am I? Who came up and said, look, today you can travel from any part of the country without fear of molestation or violence, either by criminals or political thugs? Who stood up? They will remember New Nigeria People's Party emerged at the moment of national need. And I think even the other parties you keep on mentioning their names should give us credit for that, because anybody that can help you and reduce the burden of your head is your friend. And we can now see that the burden on their head is just too much for them. They cannot continue carrying the burden of this great country. It's too much for them. Some people have to do the job, and we are ready to do the job.
Thank you very much. When we return, This is Daily Politics on Trust TV, and I'll be discussing and talking with Professor Alkali Ahmad Rufai, who is National Chairman of New Nigerian People's Party. And we're talking about what his party represents for Nigeria in this election, and for you as well. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Daily Politics on Trust TV, and we're discussing the new Nigerian political party and its ambitions in the 2023 elections. I'm here with the party's national chairman, Professor Rufai Ahmad Alkali. So, as I was saying, you mentioned earlier about nomination forms, that you've made nomination forms open for you, for young people, and for women, you know. But still, your presidential form, nomination and expression, goes for 30 million naira, you know. And some people are saying that 30 million is still a lot for a new party, even in comparison to the ruling party, which is 100 million. And I remember one of your officials, the National Publicity Secretary, Abo Major, he was saying that the PDP setting the APC setting their presidential nomination form at 100 million is unfair, unjust, and insensitive. So some Nigerians would think that for a party that is also coming up, that does not control a single state at the moment, you know, that 30 million is also high. How do you respond to that?
You are right. I think even if you put the nomination fee at 1 million naira, still there are many people who cannot afford it.
Absolutely.
That's the truth about the matter. If you take 5 million naira, there are many people who can afford. But there is what we call principle of comparativeness or comparability. If, for example, we put an expression of interest at 10 million and nomination for 20 million, and then somebody for a president of a country,
which is the highest,
with the highest, and then in the case of a governor in another party, governor alone is 50 million.
Yes.
And then for presidency is 100 million. In today's Nigerian economy, is there a basis for comparisons? There is none.
Okay.
Because the issue here is that if you take 100 million naira, the question I always ask myself is that, was the president aware about this? I think that maybe he was not aware. Or if he was aware, maybe some people did not explain to him. Because the way he started, he is the kind of person who will not allow this kind to happen. Because he's mindful of wastefulness. He is mindful of integrity. He is mindful of managing scarce resources. So his party is supposed to give it as an example. If, for example, we put our own at 100 million and they put their own 30 million, they will challenge us. They will in fact take us to court. Okay? Now, if we look at 100 million, on the average, let's say out of 100% of Nigerians, we are talking about over 99.9%. This ticket is not for them. So already, when we are talking about inclusivity, by that price alone, it has excluded 99.9% of the population. So I think the message is, what is the message that is being conveyed? I'm sure it's not that the party wanted money. No, because they have other ways of collecting money for the party. So I see it's exclusive. That is an exclusive club of only who is who. And then, behold, they all began to emerge. We thought it's too much, 100 million. People started buying this, just like a token, and they're going home, sleeping comfortably. Remember, if anybody purchases that 100 million naira form, that purchases it from the secretary and comes out and tears it into pieces, people will shout, why should you be doing this? Why should you tear a paper of 100 million naira? That is the minimum loss that guy is making. Minimum loss is going to stand for presidency. That's the minimum loss.
Because he must do that one to go beyond that point.
This is the minimum loss. If he's going to face the delegate at the convention, how many more millions are going to go? And they'll be there. If he's going to campaign, how will he campaign around the country? Money. So already the price of presidential election have been increased. The dynamics have changed. That you have to have money, real money, to be in this league. I think it's not necessary. This is not how to do it to make a point. For example, let's say if you use our own traditional system here, marriages, for example, of a daughter, they say you just give a dowry of 50,000 naira, and it's done. However rich you are, if you give 50,000 naira, it's done. But assuming instead of giving 50,000, you come and give 1 million naira or 2 million naira. People will say, why? What point do you want to prove? Huh? So there is certain things that are excesses. People embezzling themselves. They're not even embezzling government now because you don't know how the money comes. You assume it's their own money. Let's assume it's their own money. But they are embezzling themselves. And what's still after paying for the form, some of them withdraw again. So will that money go back to them?
But they are in power. So a ruling party is a party that has a selling point.
To lead by example, Adesulema.
Okay.
Yes, if you are a leader, you lead by example. Because you are the beacon. People follow.
Interesting.
You are the one who is supposed to chart the course. And then, especially in an environment where there's a lot of hunger, there's a lot of diseases, people are living in IDPs, people are looking for something to eat today and tomorrow, people have nowhere how to take care of their children in schools.
Prof, let me take you to Kano.
Yes, sir.
Because that's one of your strong states. And
no,
for
I don't want that one. You can take me back to Kano.
That's fine. We can disagree to agree. Agree to disagree on some things. That's fine. For any political party, Kano is a strong state that they must wish to target. Any political party, So your party is already demonstrating strength in that state. So how do you see the party using the gains, because it has already gained from Kano, even without having yet gone into an election yet, So how do you see using gains from Kano to the rest of the country?
What we call the principle of domino effect. Once one fall, others will fall.
Okay.
Yes. I agree with you totally. Kano is a special place. Because if you look at the size of the country, the state, the population, the way they carry themselves, it is equal to about 3 or 4 or 5 African countries or 6 countries put together. More than that.
Certainly.
But because we are Nigeria, we don't appreciate our assets. Kano is more than 6, 7, 8 countries of the world. Many countries.
That's true.
There are countries that don't have up to 1 million people as citizens. So, therefore, anybody who is talking about Nigerian politics must know that there are certain states in the country that you must try and hold on to. Getting them is an asset. And here we go, Kano is our home. And they, the people of Kano, that when they do something, they don't do it small, they do it big. And they do it better. That's why the entire political landscape of Kano has changed. And will keep on changing. But because of also the interconnectivity between Kano politics and other state politics in the north and in other parts of the country, there is this reverberation taking place. Even before I came for this interview, I have seen calls from people I have not spoken to for the past 5-10 years. And the question is, Alkali, why should you go away and leave me behind? I said, I'm not going far.
They want to also come to your party?
They want to come. They're waiting. Maybe by the time we finish this interview, already we are also waiting. People are waiting for us in the office. I'm telling you from the...
One of such people that was reported in the media recently is the former governor of the state, of Kano State, Malin Shekaru. But so far, he's released a bombshell metaphors, set of metaphors about heaven, about about Marmari and all that. But he's not actually made the official announcement that he's left. And politicians can change any moment.
Let's not go to that one, because these are issues that we don't have to discuss now. Things are unfolding. Let them unfold. What I know there is also one of the most respected leaders in Kano. He has also served as a governor, served as a minister, as a serving senator. So he is an asset, okay? And in any case, there have not been quarrel between him and Senator Rabi Musa Konkoso, because Rabi Musa Konkoso does not have enemies. He doesn't have personal enemies. You can be his enemy. That's your choice. But he doesn't make you an enemy. That's why it's easy for him when he speaks, people follow. Okay? So what you are saying is that in any case, the future of Nigeria cannot be done by one individual. Okay? Everybody has to add his voice. But what you needed is a rallying point. People who will say that enough is enough. And this is the time to move forward. And that is why a lot of people now say there was no time. They say, no, there is. Look at it, what you did. We did the merger with the national movement, with the NNPP, on March 1st. In 30 days, from 1st March to 30 days, we are able to do our caretaker committees, from the national to the state, then to the local government, to the wards. Almost immediately, we had to face the timetable of INEC. And then we have to now start the process of election of our leaders again. Then we did the election of the leaders.
The conventions.
So by the end of March, already we have done the election of our leaders at every level. Then now initially we started with the caretakers first.
Yes.
The first 14 days. Then after that, then we started the elections. Then we finished. Then now we started with the process of primaries. Although the time is tight, that we have done marvelously well, better, because for you to excel, you must work extra hard. You must deprive yourself of comfort or convenience. And because what you are doing, you are also investing in your own country. And there's not too much for investing in your own country. So what is happening is that because of this, we are not missing any step. As far as INEC guidelines are concerned, we follow them, we use what you call textbook approach. Okay. So therefore, that's why it is easy. We are following right now, they are talking about our today being 17. Yes. Already we started our 17th of May. Already we started our screening since yesterday. Yes. Okay. So we'll continue. Recently we asked for extension. They are not too sure to give us extension or not. We said we'll not wait. We'll have to move forward. So what is happening that this is a national movement, and the national movement is rooted in the commitment to bring change. Fortunately, what I've not mentioned is that the founder of the party, Chief Nnpp-From, is from Anambra State. Oh, the founder of the original NNP. Yes. Before the national movement merged with it. But for 21 years, the party was there, but arrested. Okay, but at least it was there on the shelf of the, and it was also on the. That's why some people are saying it's a reincarnation of Zeke's party, the old National Party of Nigeria. You know, whenever I come to you, I learn many things, so maybe I'm also learning something for you. I'm just asking the question, sir. But, you're the chairman of the party, so it's for you to say. But if Zeke also, you remember, we work with the MPC, and they form an alliance, what you call the National Alliance. So if, for example, it happens that way, it's a reincarnation of that. What is important is that you must cross Nigerian bridges. Absolutely. You must reach the people. Those who are concerned about their future, about their interests, about their welfare, about their businesses, about their lives, you must assure everybody. That is the only way you can carry people along. There is nobody who will take this party and say and pocket it in such a way that you exclude a particular region or particular tribe or particular ethnic group or particular gender. It cannot work. This is a new brand political party that is all inclusive. That's why we call ourselves social democrats.
So let's talk about the near future.
Yes, sir.
The the primaries at all levels, particularly at the levels of House of Assemblies, governorships, House of Representatives, senators, the ones where local activists on ground can, fight it out with other parties in the. What does that look like to you as party chairman from the reports you are receiving from across the country in your party?
It's very positive.
Okay.
Like I told you, initially, whenever you start a new idea, only people with foresight, with deep thinking, with passion, those who want to what we call calculated political risks, that take these initiatives and they follow. When the PDP was formed in 1998, 1999, virtually find that the professionals were not part of it. Intellectuals were not part of it, most of them. Well, the leaders, the elders were, of course, they are all right. But the others who are supposed to be mobilized, civil servants.
You joined later, you were part of it.
No, people were hiding their faces because they were not too sure how far they were going. But once things started settling down, a new political tribe emerged that is young, active, strong, and rich, educated. So this political tribe is the one that we are having battle with now.
Interesting.
Because gradually now the older generation who were thinking of Nigeria first, most of them are not normal. So now it is me, I. That's why the issue of running around, you must give me this position must come to this place. In politics, you negotiate.
Absolutely.
You persuade. You reconcile. Because if you don't persuade, you don't negotiate, you cannot force anybody to go and vote for you. If you are looking for anything, even in your family, if you are looking for something, sometimes you have to go through negotiation, through persuasion, through reconciliation, through accommodation. That element of accommodation is essential. And that's what Nnpp is going to offer to everybody. There is an accommodation for everybody.
Interesting.
Everybody will be accommodated. But you must also come with a sincere mind. They are working for our country and for our democracy.
Thank you. Prof, we have just a few more minutes to leave, but I have just one or two more questions, which is the presidential primaries. In many other parties, in at least a few other parties, even the PRP, which is also like you, like your party is making waves. They have 30 governorship aspirants. I know you disagree, it's fine. You can say it. And they have 30 governorship primaries. And they have 4 presidential aspirants that are known. How many presidential aspirants do we have in the NNPP? And how is that fight looking? Because some people might feel, given the role that former governor of Kano State play, it might appear like a kind of one-man show or something like that. That's a fair question.
You always have a name for everything.
Yes.
And now this is the name you are going to. Let me tell you the truth.
Yes, sir.
The truth is that any political party, when it's formed, is looking for three things, so to say. One is that you must look for aspirants. Because when you set up the party and then elections are approaching and nobody purchases your form, then you may as well close your office.
Yes.
And wait for INEC to finally hit the nail.
Yes.
Because it's already not a political party.
Yes.
And I think that's why you can see many political parties, some of them over 90 before, they have been reduced to a few, to 18. So first and foremost, the good thing is that we have been many people coming and contesting for seeking our forms. Secondly, is also a party also hopes that those people who are going to come, they can come with, they should be asset to the party.
Okay.
Yeah? Not liability to the party. So therefore, if you have a presidential candidate and then they are fighting among themselves, screaming, killing each other. They cannot reconcile, they cannot accommodate, like I've been saying. Then that party also, you have assets, but the assets have become a liability.
Interesting.
Again, a party would not like to have that kind of arrangement. Fourthly, thirdly, you also want the persons who is going to emerge. If he is one person, the one you mention his name, people will say, this is a man of character. This is a man of credibility. This is a man of the people. And this is a man who can fight for everybody. So if you have one with that kind of credentials, isn't it better than to have 10 that are fighting over who should carry this, who should carry that? Until the end of the elections, you don't know who you are dealing with. So, Senator Rabi Musa Konkoso, who is the national leader of the party, was the person who purchased the form.
Okay.
And we cannot go to the market, apart from at the time we have done and other thing. If somebody does not approach us, okay, what do we do with him? So we have him, and we believe as at the time comes, when the picture becomes clearer, you know the person who has, as now as an aspirant. By the time we go to the national convention, we will do the needful, and then after the convention, he will emerge as a candidate or a candidate of the party. And then what remains now is for the party now to take, not only him remember then, but all our governorship candidates, all our senators, all members of House of Reps, all our House of Assembly. Because ultimately, if you have the president but you don't have the governors, still is not good enough. If you have the governors, you don't have the National Assembly.
Just about 10 more seconds?
Yes. So what it means is that we are good to go because we are better organized than a house of rancor, a house of crisis, a house of uncertainty, a house of division. Then the very project that we are championing to bring back our country, to save our country, to rescue our nation, we will never achieve it in this in a situation of crisis, anarchy, disorder, and cutthroat politics.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
maybe tomorrow when I have APC or PDP people, I will tell them you said that their house is house of rancor and house of crisis. It's always nice speaking with you, Professor Ahmed Al-Kali.
What is on the ground?
MPP chairman. This is where we draw a curtain for today's program. And I'm sure, like you, like me, you've enjoyed listening to the prof. Sometimes you wonder whether he's a professor, where his professor ends and where the politician starts. Thank you for staying with us. We hope you will join us tomorrow again for another edition of Daily Politics on Trust TV. My name is Suleiman. Goodbye.